Again, I'm going to wrap my hook, go through, and pull through again, and then chain 2. Oh no. And then we're going to tie off our thread, or yarn, or tie our yarn, not tie off. Okay, so that's our first cluster of 3. Now we're going to do a cluster of 3. We're going to do it 4 more times until we get to the corner. It's 2 clusters. Okay, that's what that looks like so far. Now we're going to do the corner, which is a cluster of 3, and then chain 2, and then a cluster of 3. And then we'll meet you back at the end of the row, or round. Last 2 of this row. We're going to slip stitch and slip stitch. We're going to change colors again, and this is the last row before the fun row. So 2 rows left, and you've got a sleeve. I'm wrapping around again, and pulling through once and pulling through twice. Chain 2, turn it over, tie it. Nice and easy. So again, we're just doing the clusters of 3. It's basically just a 1 row repeat. It's the nice thing about granny squares. I get that this is a granny hexagon, but it's the same concept as doing a granny square. It always amazes me on the fact that you take 2 balls, well in this case 3 balls of yarn, and it turns into something beautiful. In this case a doll sweater, but and then I get to say I made that. And then hopefully somebody will have this doll sweater for their doll. Okay, and then we'll meet you at the end and show you how to do the last row. Alright, I'm back at the beginning. So oops. Okay, and we're slip stitching. And that row is done. Okay, that's row 8, and that is the last of it basically, except for the sewing row. Okay. So I'm gonna pull that out. And we're going to flip it over. We're going to tighten it. We're going to tighten the center if you haven't already. And then we're going to close it up. I'm going to take my darning needle or whatever it's called. Make sure that hole's nice and tight. And then we're just going to go in and okay, I'm going to pick up the stitch and I'm going to kind of knot it. You could probably just glue these too if you wanted to. Just put a dot of Mod Podge, or just so the end, at the end, cut off the end, put a dot of glue. Mod Podge or Gorilla Glue or whatever you like to use. I cut off my strings as I go, so, but that's what it looks like there. Okay, So we'll flip it back over. And a row for the sleeves. Okay. So we're going to do it a little bit different than we have been doing it. So we're going to do our wraparound stitch. Wrap around DC or double crochet. And then we're going to do a cluster. Okay, so there's my cluster. We're going to do it that way because this is going to be the sleeve opening. So right here is going to be the sleeve opening. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we're going to crochet as normal. So 1 in there, 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 and then the cluster of 3, chain 2, cluster of 3. And then we're going to do it on this same as that row to this one, or side. Same. And same to here. We're going to stop right here. And then I'll show you how to do the rest. So I'm going to do my clusters. My cluster of 3, cluster of 3, cluster of 3. Okay, we're at the corner, so we're going to do a cluster of 3, chain 2 and cluster at 3. And then I'm going to meet you back at, I think it's the 4th corner, but I'll double check. Okay, so this is the 1st corner, 2nd corner, 3rd corner, 4th corner, 5th corner. Wait, no. Is it? Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so 1 side, 2 side, 3 side, 4 side. And we're going to stop right here, and I'll meet you back right here. Okay, we're back. Okay. So we have 1 side open and 1 side open. So what we're going to do, remember how we said that was going to be the bottom of the sleeve? So we're going to take it and flip it. So there's the bottom of the sleeve and the top of the shoulder. Now we're going to do the top of the shoulder. Okay, let's take that out. Okay, we're going to do our cluster of 3 last time. Okay, So we've done a cluster of 3. Now we're going to go in the top. Oh, cluster of 3 and then our chain 1. And then we're going to go through the top, pull through like that, and then we're going to slip stitch. Then we're going to chain 1. And then we're going to do a cluster to finish off the corner. Okay, so we're putting it through the top, pulling that through, and then pulling it through the loop there. So you're basically slip stitching it to the other side. And it makes it look kind of cool. You could sew it if you wanted to. I just do it like this because it's easy. Okay, so do another cluster. Go through the top, grab the yarn, pull it through the hole and the loop. Another cluster. Find the next space. Pull it, then pull it through, then tighten. You want to tighten it as much as you can so it doesn't look messy on the other side. I'll show you what that looks like after. Okay, so we're pull through and then pull through. Another cluster. Cluster. Two more clusters and this part's done. Sorry, I've got to untangle it. I'm going to redo that one. Okay. So 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to slip stitch to the other side, pull up. The last cluster for the shoulder. Okay, so I take my hook out and I put it through the other one, and then I just pull right through, and then I kind of just chain it once. And then we're going to pull up a loop wrap it around. See the hole? I'm gonna go into that hole and do a cluster. And then a cluster here. Two more clusters. Last cluster. Okay. That's my last cluster. I'm gonna cut off my thread or yarn. And I'm gonna grab my needle. Okay, so I'm gonna go through both like that. And then we're gonna flip it over so you can see the back. And I go through those two and then just tighten it. See? And then okay. I'm gonna put a little knot here. There. A little knot there. Then I'm gonna go underneath. And I'm just gonna go underneath that one too. Just then I'm gonna cut off the excess. And guess what? You have a sleeve. There's your sleeve. I'm gonna cut that thread off. There we go. Okay. Okay, so sleeve. There it is. Nice and pretty. Now you gotta do one more. Go do one more and then come back and I'll show you how to attach it all together. Okay. Here's my 2 sleeves. All right. I'm gonna put one to the side for a minute and I'm going to grab, what yarn do I want to use? I'm gonna grab the middle color. Okay. I'm gonna pull the yarn through and I'm going to tie it. And then I'm gonna pull a loop and then chain 1, and then I'm gonna do my wraparound crochet, double crochet, okay, so we're just doing a cluster of 3 there. We're gonna do it all the way up to the top. So cluster 3. Just a cluster in all the holes, the spaces. So basically we're going to do the same thing as the sleeve, but we're going to do it to attach them. Redo that one. I don't like it. Looks sloppy. Here we go. Next one. Okay. So we're going to put our last cluster. See where your chain 2 spaces? We're going to put our last cluster right there. Okay, so that's our row. Okay, this is where it gets a little tricky. So what I do is I flip it over, and then I grab the other one and flip it over, and then we do some fancy stuff here. Okay, you're gonna wrap over, find your chain space. Oh, that's why it went weird. Okay. I know why that went weird. Okay. Okay. Now we're gonna do our cluster like we did before. And then like before, we're gonna go in that top, sorry. Make sure you pull it as tight as you can. And then we're going to continue doing our clusters all the way down like we did the sleeve. I'll show you one more and then we'll go to the end. Okay, and then we pull up and pull through like we did on the other one. Okay, there's the cluster. And you find the hole or the space and pull through, pull tight. Okay, I will meet you back at the end. Okay, I'm on my last cluster here. Okay, there's my cluster done. And I go in the top of the other, on the other side, and then just chain one to finish it off. Well, do 2 chains, and then pull and cut. Guess what? You have a doll sweater. Okay, so okay, see these, the loopies? This is your slip stitch, and if you don't do them tight enough, they look too loose. So on the other side there too. So there's your slip stitch right there. But that's basically it. Look, I just have to do an edging. I'm going to do an edging. I'll show you the edging around here, how I do the neckline, but I'm going to leave the sleeves as is. You can do an edging around there and it looks really nice. Here. This one. Okay. Okay, so this one we did the sleeve all around for that one. And then this is the single crochet edging. Well, I did. And that looks pretty too.